Hi everyone, welcome to Hot Seat with Cognizant Clay. I am your host, Clayton Terrio. Today on the show we have Brandon Winfield. He is the CEO and founder of the app iAccess Life. iAccess Life was founded to provide reviews for tourist attractions based on accessibility. Hope you guys enjoy it.
You saying something about like how's everything over here with the virus?
Yeah, how are you dealing with it?
Not too bad, man. I mean, it's funny in Georgia we had about like 70 straight days with only 4 days that were not wet. Essentially, like it was just raining
Wow.
constantly here, and then all of a sudden the coronavirus shows up, and now we have to be indoors, and it's beautiful outside, and all the rain has made the flowers grow, and you just want to be outside all day, but unfortunately, got to be inside most of the time. But we're hanging in there.
Yep, it's unfortunate. Well, thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, man. Thanks for having me.
I've been watching some of your videos on YouTube and just reading about you, and you seem good. Woody was pretty adamant that you'd be down for this. So
Yeah, and I want to say thanks to him, and I hope if he sees this that he still needs to do his meditation because I've been getting on him about it. And that guy can do anything in the world that he puts his mind to. He's so talented and focused on stuff, but he can't do his meditation, and I'm trying to get him to do it because I said when he starts doing it, he'll be unstoppable. He'll do like anything in the world.
oh yeah, for sure, he's a great guy. So your story is you were huge into motocross when you were younger, and at 14 you unfortunately had an accident that left you paralyzed from the chest down, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm a T7, T8, so just below the nipple line, essentially.
Right. Okay. What talk me through like what were your biggest adjustments after that point? Like how did you adjust to not being able to do what you love anymore?
The first thing and something I always say is that I knew the risk of what I was doing. I loved
Right.
racing motocross. It was something I dedicated my life to and I worked really hard for. So it wasn't like I was just out trail riding or messing around with buddies and it happened. It was something like I knew the risk. I'd been hurt plenty of times before, and this was just one of those things that was really crazy that happened. It was really surreal and it was almost like a dream, essentially, because of all the pain that you're going through, and then just
Right.
the fact that it's all a haze, and I don't even know what's going on with your body physically when it happens. But the first, I definitely the first month and a half, when you're sitting there trying to recover and just get better, your body's really weak. And at the time, I'm 14 years old, so it's hard to adjust to that. But I'm a little bit naive too, and thinking that hey, I'll be able to walk again. Like we'll figure this thing out. It's not going to
Right.
get bad. It'll come back eventually. I remember when the first muscle spasms happened that I remember, and I thought like that was a sign. Like I called the nurses and I was like, my legs are moving, like they're starting to move, and they're like, oh, that's just a spasm. That's going to happen. I was like, damn.
Right. Right.
I just wanted to adjust and go back to a normal life. I didn't take too much pity on myself because I knew, what I was doing, and I just decided to figure out what was best to do. And I had a great support system around me with my family and some of the friends that I got to keep afterwards because
Right.
disappeared, of course. But everybody else kind of kept me going, and of course, there's always bad days, but you just try to remember the good days and know that it's gonna get better, and you don't always have to be sad.
Exactly. And you've got your whole life ahead of you. You're only 14. Like I interviewed Garrison the other day and he said the same thing. He goes, you can be sad if you want, but ultimately what are you going to do? You got to just keep moving forward and, try to be as happy as you can. It's hard, but that's all you got. Who would you say inspired you the most through your recovery to stay positive and happy?
Huh. I've never been asked that question before, honestly. It was funny. I was so young that I really at the time didn't want like anything to do with the disabled community. Essentially, like I just didn't want to accept the fact that I was
Right.
hurt disabled now. I just wanted to be with my friends and keep doing what they were doing and just try to keep up with them. Um, So I mean, honestly, my family, they were like the best motivators for me. They really supported me. They helped make that transition back home super easy. They looked for ways for me to go do other things. Like my dad got me a golf cart, and I was able to drive around the neighborhood and hang out with my friends and be able to get around, which was nice, and pick up people. And we had so many great times on that golf cart. People still talk about it to this day. And, my mom was just great and supportive as well. She's a mom. She's very loving and caring and cooks me food and like was helping me, do dishes, whatever it was, and take out the trash. So I didn't have any chores. And my sister's just great as well. She's always been there. But yeah, I would definitely say my family was kind of like my biggest inspiration to just keep fighting for them. And, I wanted them to not feel upset or feel bad for me or feel like this was their fault or anything of that nature.
Right, right. I was reading about you, and it said you discovered karting since then. How did you discover that? How did you come across karting?
So just as a kid, I've always been very interested in anything motocross or two-wheel related or anything with an engine, some kind of racing and competition and something that goes fast and that's loud and sounds good. Like I love that stuff. And the smell of race gas has always been very appealing to me as well. So my dad grew up with motorcycles. He was more of a street bike guy. So he was at the road racing tracks. And I would go out there with him and watch him ride a lot out in California. And they also had a karting track out there. So it's very hazy. I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. The memory's not very clear, but I definitely remember seeing go-karts go around and the colors of the helmets and, the suits that they were wearing and how fast they could go around the corners and the sound of two-stroke engines and the smell of them too. It was like, this is really cool. But for me, motocross was just in my blood at the time, and you couldn't tell me anything different. So when I got hurt, I was looking for something to compete with normal people, essentially. I didn't want it to be an adaptive sport. I wanted something where I could compete against everybody else. And like I said, motors and racing always, got me going. And I was like, let's get into some karts. Like, that would be really cool to do. And my dad and my mom, they're, after everything that happened to me, they still supported me, wanted me to go racing and do other fun stuff like that. And so they got me a go-kart and took off from there.
Was there any like adjustments you had to make to the cart or anything that you did have to adapt about that to be able to do it?
Yeah, so they unfortunately they don't ever build hand controlled carts. There's no such thing as like you can't just buy a hand controlled cart, from the manufacturer essentially. So at the time, we just found somebody that had a cart, and this guy named Jeff Bacon, he has a shop, and he kind of helped his son start racing and helps other people, and was pretty, well known around the local area of kart racing. So he got us a cart, and he was like this mad scientist guy behind everything that helped us manufacture these makeshift hand controls, where I had like a little pull lever that was almost like a front brake lever essentially for something. That was the gas, and then we had like a paddle on the other side for the brake. And we had we had a whole lot of trial and error trying to get the brakes to work right because of the way you have to put the reservoir and everything at, the way that the brake fluid flowed through the thing, through the brake line essentially. So we had a lot of funny, interesting times with that. But now one of my buddies, Michael Day, who you should probably talk to as well, he owns a company called Race Bionics. And they are working on, kind of creating I guess not like a cookie cutter way, but a way to manufacture hand controls that they can sell to the Andretti's and the people of that nature so that we can all have a place to go kart if we want to.
Right, and it's like, I don't know if you know Lewis Hamilton's brother Nicholas. He's got cerebral palsy and he races. It's really quite incredible. Like now with all the technology, the possibilities are really endless. Like I have muscular dystrophy, and I was talking to Brent Key the other day, and he said we've even done wheelchair bands for people who are totally, basically unambulatory, and they're able to use their hands or their fingers for dials to drive, and that's pretty cool. Are there any other sports or physical activities that you like to do other than karting?
Oh, of course. Before I got hurt, I was always very active. Just you couldn't stop me from going outside, and I constantly got in trouble for not coming home when the street lights came on or whatever. So right now, I mean, I mostly play basketball for fun. I like to play tennis if I can find somebody that can hit the ball in a decent area for me, because I don't have like a wheelchair that helps me maneuver that quickly around. I just use my basic one. So doing that, playing ping pong, playing pool, riding jet skis, ATVs, kind of just anything I can get my hands on that I'm comfortable with, I'll do it. I've always luckily had this natural ability to pick up things relatively quickly. So any kind of sport, man, I'm down for it. If it's outdoors or anything like that, I'm game.
For sure. I've got a little segment here called Rapid Fire. I'm just going to ask you a few questions just to get your interests, so you live in Atlanta. Who would be your favorite person from Georgia?
Oh, that's a good question. Damn. I don't even know. I don't think Donald Glover is from Georgia. Is he? He might be.
Yeah,
Donald
he
Glover.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. But yes, Donald Glover for sure.
100%. I'm wearing the Childish Gambino shirt right now, so there you go.
My man.
Who would your favorite musician or band be?
From Atlanta or just in general?
Just in general.
Favorite band, probably MGMT or what's the other one I'm thinking of right now? I'm totally drawing a blank on it. It'll come back to me. Oh, Cage the Elephant's always really great too.
Yeah, good band.
And then for favorite musician at this stage right now, he's gone, but Mac and Miller, rest in peace, definitely one of my favorite musicians because he's an artist. Like, he went from rapping and doing these kind of poppy songs and the underground stuff to kind of transitioning and making like these deep meaning, I don't know, just beautiful songs that have like a lot of purpose and soul behind them. So he's definitely one of my favorite people.
Definitely. What would be your go-to meal?
Everybody that's going to see this that knows me is going to know what I'm about to say, and that is tacos. Definitely tacos. Any kind of Mexican food, I'm all over it.
Oh yeah, for sure. What was your favorite number, or now with carts, what number would you pick to go on your car or bike, whatever it is?
I'd probably have to stay with my 937. I don't think 937 is my favorite number, but it's what I got when I was going to go race an amateur national one year. I'd even end up racing that national. I got hurt beforehand, and we had the numbers already made, and it kept seeming like I got hurt with 296, and I was just ready to change it up. And 937 has kind of been like my thing now that I just go with, so I run with that.
Awesome. If you could watch one sport for the rest of your life and you had to erase all the other ones, which one would you pick?
Easy. Supercross, motocross.
Yeah, I figured. And last question of the rapid fire. Have you ever been asked if you are related to the baseball player Dave Winfield?
All the time, actually. Well, I won't say all the time, but I've definitely been asked more than a handful of times if I'm related to him. And I don't think I am. From what I hear, we're not related.
Seems to be a pretty common last name. I looked up Brandon Winfield on Google, and there was 100 results. So there you go. You found, so back into the questions here. So you mentioned, as if the viewers don't know, Brandon, you founded the app iAccess Life, which is basically a Yelp for accessibility. Now, when did it click that you wanted to make this app?
So I know exactly when it clicked, but beforehand it started just from when I was 17, 18, 19. I would go to Vegas and California, different parts of Florida with my friends, and we would go out, or I'd go on a date with somebody, and we'd go out to these places and want to try someplace new that I'd never been before, and I'd get there, and I wouldn't be able to use the bathroom or get in the entrance or kind of have this embarrassing moment of feeling like a burden to the people that I was around that we couldn't enjoy this place that we were trying to go. And I always wonder, why don't we have this information, at our fingertips? Why do I have to show up someplace and kind of figure it out? Or why do I have to call in and ask somebody that may not know anything about, accessibility if their place is accessible? Because there's a lot of things that I still don't know about accessibility, and I've been living with this for 13 years now. Damn, oh my God, it's already passed 3 days. Yeah, it's been 3 days since my 13th anniversary. I just realized that now. That's crazy. Yeah, yeah, 4/6/2018, 12 years, sorry. So all that kind of sat in the back of my mind for quite a bit. And then I went to a church service with my mom one day, and it was a New Year's Eve service. And they were talking about, instead of focusing on what you can do to better yourself this year, that you'll probably end up giving up on in the next month, how can you help your community? And I was like, oh, that's a cool kind of thought process. And I guess I was thinking about it a little bit after I left. And as soon as I got to my car and went to go reach for the door handle, it was that light bulb moment of, I got to make a mobile app, but I got to make it cool and fun. And I don't want it to feel like you're coming there because you're disabled. I want it to feel like you're coming there to go find something fun to do that is accessible, essentially. I feel like a lot of things in the community are catered towards medical supplies, medical equipment, just your disability in general. And I want to empower people to feel included in everyday life and everyday activities. And I want people to feel like they're normal. And I just want them to go look for a good time and find a place to go hiking or find a place to go scuba diving one day and this and that, and find a place to go on a date and not have to worry about if you can use the bathroom after a couple drinks.
Exactly. And well, it's not just, I find like I have two young nieces. My sister has a hell of a time getting around with even a stroller, and I find that app could help moms, elderly, you know what I mean? It's not just universal, and that's awesome to hear that you did that. What kinds of interactions have you gotten from the people that have used the app?
So it's all been really positive. The people that use it seem to love it, and they especially like in the reviews in the App Store, those all look good. And then and it's the best part of doing this, honestly, is the fact that when people reach out to me and they're just like, this is so cool, like it's helped so much, and I have a brother or a sister or a mom and a dad that uses this, or I use this personally, and like it helps me do this and that, and it's been great. Like the user feedback has been great. We're just getting started. We launched end of March, beginning of April last year. And of course, we're a crowdsourcing application, so we rely on our users to leave ratings and reviews so that people can consume them. So right now, our message is just trying to, get the people that are out there living their life to the fullest to kind of pave the way for others that may not be so, open to that yet, or are very shy about their disability, or going out and finding new places to rate and review and kind of help people out. So that's probably the best kind of feedback I've gotten. Of course, we've gotten small feedback about minor improvements we can make, want to make the character or the review box longer, other little things in that nature. So we're updating. We just did a new release 2 weeks ago. We'll do another one in the next 60 days that'll have even more cool features where you can add photos, and we do these brand ambassador contests, so we'll set milestones in the application that you can keep up with and look at, and just do things to incentivize people to keep coming back to our app and using it.
Very interactive. I downloaded it, and even I'm in Canada. I'm just by Toronto, and everything is on there. Like I did like 10 or 15 reviews of the places in the area, because it's like, that is an awesome app. So thank you for developing that, because it's helped me too. So
I really appreciate you leaving the reviews, and like I'm about to say, it's strength in numbers, essentially. The more people that know about it and the more that we help ourselves and take it seriously, the more that the mainstream will want to help us and take it seriously too. If they see the traction behind it and the numbers behind it, they'll put money towards it and they'll make a change. I mean, right now what we're trying to do is just give people a platform to know where to go and where not to go. And hopefully down the road, that drives change to these locations of seeing the demographic of people that they're missing out on, that they could be into their space, because it's not just people with disabilities, it's our companions that we travel with as well. So we're not just by ourselves, we're 2-3 other people.
Exactly. And that reminds me of my buddy Stephen Call in the building. I live in like a care building for disabled people, and he's a quadriplegic as well. I don't know if that's what yours is considered, but he's quadriplegic as well, and he loved sailing. So what he did was he started a charter service to take people up and down the river here in Oakville, elderly, kids, disabled people and all that. So that I recommended it to him too, because that's big.
That would be awesome. I would definitely love to get a warm introduction to him and talk to him one day, so we can get him on the app somehow. Yeah, and, sure. Kind of let him advertise his services as well. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. What other charities and advocacy groups do you work with other than your app and whatnot?
So I'm starting to get more involved. I really, to be quite frank, I've kind of not been all that hands in of what I've been doing as far as like advocacy groups and everything. But recently I've been more involved I was just part of the MARTA Equity Board, or it was like Transit Equity Day. So MARTA was doing, which is our local transit around here that helps people get around. They're doing an audit of the accessibility of their bus stops. So I was a part of that, and I spoke on that press conference. I've been working with another guy from the the Wheels of Happiness Foundation. He's working with Coca-Cola, and he's got his own board of people that he works with. And I've been taking more meetings with everybody, who's trying to get involved. And unfortunately, we're all kind of on hold now, so that's put everything on the back me getting together and meeting people and talking to the boards of some of these organizations. But once we get back going again, I hope to be more hands-on and be involved. It's just I really want to focus on this and not be spread too thin. But I definitely need to be more in the community and more involved in what we're doing, and get feedback from everybody else as well. So if you have any recommendations, or if anybody wants to reach out and have me a part of what they're doing, I would love to.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you're doing it for me right now. So, and that's just it. Like, I figured now that it's down, I started my page, Cognizant Clay, to raise awareness and interview people like you to just promote the brands, right? Because it's really important. Like, it's more accessible than it used to be around us, but at the same time, there is still many areas that it can improve, and doing stuff like that is always good to reach out to as many people as you can, and I figured this was the best way to do it. Speaking of, what advice would you give to people during quarantine on how to support apps like yours and charities right now? How would you recommend that?
Well, actually, it's great that you asked this question, because we currently, shameless plug real quick, we have an initiative going on right now that is called our Stay in Place, Rate in Place initiative. So we encourage people to download the app, log on, and rate locations that they're very familiar with, that you don't have to go to rate, essentially. And for every unique place rated from now until May 6th, it started on April 6th, so from now until May 6th, we'll donate $1 to Meals on Wheels, and that helps give back to the elderly and people that kind of need this stuff and need that relief during this COVID-19 stuff. Other ways to help, there's another app that I'm going to plug as well, Purposity, Purposity, and it's a really cool app that allows you to donate to smaller charities around you. People kind of upload their needs and things that they need to have taken care of, and it ranges from like $5 to $20 to $25 to $50, so it's super easy to be able to give back if you can, and that's always great because I know they're doing some initiatives around this as well, and they're just a great company, great owner, so definitely want to support them. And just anything else, there's always a way to help somebody out. Staying inside and doing your part of doing that and not going out helps. Just positive attitude and giving positive energy is always good as well. And yeah, that's, I guess, the best way to help.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's about all I have. Thank you so much, Brandon. I do appreciate it. If anybody wants to check them out, it's BMW937 on Instagram. And if you can add anything to that, how to get in touch with you through iAccess Life, go ahead.
Yeah, www.iAccesslife.com and at iAccessLife on all social media, LinkedIn, all that good stuff as well. I think that's all I have to plug right now, yeah. So just follow us there, keep up with us. We'll be releasing a vlog kind of series soon that kind of follows us around and what I'm doing and tries to, motivate, encourage people to go live their life to the fullest, essentially, and have a good time. So that should be coming out within the next couple of weeks. And download iAccess Live today, Android and iOS.
Awesome. All right, Brandon, thank you very much. You have yourself a good one.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.